Sounds good. Hello and welcome to the BCSS Provincial Ultimate Championships 2025. This semifinals match has the Templeton Titans versus Burnaby North Secondary. These two teams had sort of an unlikely matchup for the semifinals match. Burnaby fought a hard-fought quarterfinals after a arduous day one, and the Titans, being the reigning Vancouver champions, are no surprise to any of us. On the microphone today, my name is Jonah, and I'm joined by
Brian Richards. Thanks very much, Jonah. Yeah, Burnaby North for sure. Bit of a surprise. Their coach, we chatted with their coach beforehand. He said even he was surprised to be here after they went on and beat bit of a grudge match Burnaby South, who they've lost to in a few other places. They lost to South in Valhalla in the quarterfinals. And then, of course, at Fraser North Zones as well. They went off to they were second place behind South. So big one to win. So they're probably the underdog here, but underdogs win. We know that.
Underdogs do sometimes win. This is the provincial championships, and if there's a place where nerves are going to come into play, it's here. On the line, starting on offense, we have Templeton. Some players to look out for. Number 88, Jack Ponton. He's been on fire all tournament, as well as, all right, picking up the disc, number 99, Callahan McCullough. Centering disc. Burnaby North coming down in a zone. Looks like a 3-3-1 zone. Disc pops through the middle. Really good movement from the Titans here, not letting the disc stagnate, not letting that zone set up. Traditional wisdom is you want to kind of swing it from sideline to sideline and find any holes that open up during that process. Titans right now keeping it in the middle, but they find an opening. Disc pops up, bobbles it, makes the grab. Callum Reed with the nice little pop throw there. And into the end zone, not quite, walk in. And a little pop pass to number 5, Tessa Bell for the score.
Yeah, not too much trouble there with the zone. There's a slight wind where they were going into, Titans were going into a slight wind there. Nothing that seemed to bother them at all. When you can run a bunch of experienced handlers, and they were running a bunch of that, I think through Daphne Bell as well in the handler position, it was pretty easy. I think that's a good look by North. I always say when I'm coaching, you want to run a zone early, see what happens. Maybe the other team can't handle it so well, and then it's a good thing you rely on. I think North is probably going to pocket that and try match D next time, but we'll see. So now we'll get a chance to see North on O.
Yeah, I like that idea of putting on a zone early. You know, you can really lull the other team into a kind of dump swing over and over kind of tempo in the game, and then when you put on a person defense later on, they might not be ready for how tight the defenders are on them, and it can catch them off guard.
And they came real close to getting that easy turnover too. In the middle there, we had a quadruple bobble on that one throw, which again, that's what zone does. You're not trying to get the turnover on every throw, but you make them make 100 throws.
Exactly.
And one of them might be a drop. It almost wasn't 1-0 for Templeton.
Yes, sir. Burnaby North on offense here. Players to watch out for. We have Brandon Wong, number 30. The rest of the players have their jerseys inside out, and it's hard to tell who's who. One of them's wearing pajama pants.
That's because it's ultimate.
It's ultimate. The pull is up. Deep pull, almost to the back line of the end zone. Floaty pass is the first one, and we start with almost a Callahan. From number 8, Max Chang, who pops it into the end zone for the break to number 5, Tessa Bell. That's her second score of the game, and it's an important one.
Wow, that was I was looking down, making a note, and then that point almost ended right there. So that's a tough one. You talked about nerves at the start of this game, and I think that might have been a little bit about it from North, taking a little casual on the first throw in there, and Yeah, almost, as you said, almost a Callahan, but an easy score after the conversion, after the interception just outside of the end zone. And again, to Tessa, that's one of the Bell kids. They're going to be seen all over this event, or all over this game. They're a lot of experience. They're up and coming, or in some ways already arrived on the ultimate scene in British Columbia. And it'll be interesting to see them go here. And on the other side, I think North has just got to settle down a little bit, down 2-0 early. They were down 7-2 in their quarterfinal, came back and won 8-7, so they're never out of it.
No strangers to comebacks. And, we'll see if they can rally here. It looks like a similar O-line going out with a couple of changes. We have number 3 on the field, Lanson Jiang. Number 13. Ready for the pull. We have a shoelace being tied. And we're good to go. Offense coming downwind. We'll see if the Titans go with their zone again. Downwind notoriously a little bit more difficult to lock teams up.
I love zone and downwind. Love it.
Yeah? Force the huck. And it looks like we're playing person defense with a side stack from Burnaby North. Nice shot into the middle, in power position. Has the huck. Doesn't throw it. Ooh! Putting his opponent on skates. Gets the reset. Burnaby North kind of overloading this handler space on the near side, making it difficult. 3 cutters in the lanes. Finds the isolation. Big backhand fake. Nice reset. Yeah, Burnaby North really keeping the disc on this near sideline, not using the width of the field.
Oh.
But they have some quick players. Oh, not quite enough.
There's a little too many. A lot of jukes there. Never quite got wide open and kind of forced to throw up the line.
Titans with another chance to break going upwind. Nice under. Look us off the second under. Callahan McCullough with the disc on the sideline. Gets it to Maria Darwoon on the sideline. Daphne Bell with the disc. Fighting through contact on the under. He gets it. Number 1, Alexander Cartwright. And Callahan McCullough kind of poached in the middle of the field. We'll see if they use him. Number 8, Max Chang with the disc to McCullough. Nice little lefty on the up line. Really patient offense here from Templeton. Shot a little bit too far inside, but makes the catch anyway. Oh, great mark. Forces them to lose about 5 yards on that reset. And they gain it right back, but there's a bobble.
As it was really good offense. It was calm, but it also wasn't gaining a lot. North was bottling them up on the sideline. Couldn't get a lot of shots.
Agreed. North with their second chance to score. Puts up a huck, same third. Looks like it's going to be a turnover. It's a tough shot to take when you're on the sideline, going downwind, shooting to a receiver on the same side. But sometimes the pressure mounts and you don't have much of a choice. Max Chang with the disc. Gets it to Darwoon. High shot. And there's a call in the field, possibly out of bounds. They will discuss.
Looks tough. But again, North is kind of bottling them up on the close sideline to where we are. You know what we always say there: when you're jammed up on the sideline, you want to keep jamming it up the jam hole.
Yes, sir. The age-old adage proves true.
Nothing ever wrong with that. Just keep going up the sideline.
If it ain't broke,
don't listen to me, young coaches. It's terrible advice.
Darwoon with the disc. Looking back, gets a nice under, contested to number 2. Who's not on our sheet. Big flick blade to Callahan McCullough for the score. Templeton go up 3-0.
Yeah, that was, even though they were on the sideline and jammed up a little bit, there's no panic. No panic in Templeton's offense. Smooth throws. And we saw there, we've seen Tessa Bell score a couple.
Yep.
Now we saw Daphne in the handler position with a lot of resets, some pretty smooth upwind throws to keep the offense moving, and then just opened up that kind of mid-range huck, not a full huck, but a longer throw, pretty easy conversion.
Yeah. Templeton really got, I think, all of their players to touch the disc that point. They were using everyone. It wasn't just a couple of star players going back and forth, up line, passing it to each other. It was really the whole team kind of picking their spots and getting open, whether it's on the under, whether it's on the upline, whether it's on the reset. And that's what you like to see. That's kind of what it takes to compete at this high level, is to have a deep roster of players who can fill any position.
Yeah, and speaking of knowing what it takes to compete at the high level, just looking out there at the coaching staff for Templeton's, we got Carla and Jeff, Carla Craddock and Jeff Bell, and they've been around the ultimate scene in Vancouver for 30 plus years between them.
Yeah, you were joking on the sideline earlier that between them there's 100 years of coaching and playing experience.
Absolutely. So they've got some good leadership from the top there for Templeton. Always do. So that's great to see them now there. And then of course Jeff's kids are on the team, and Carla's were on the team years ago
back at Sutherland when she was coaching in the North Shore. And the other assistant coach for Templeton is Kerry McCullough, who's Callahan McCullough, number 99, who just scored, and his brother Griffin McCullough, who graduated recently. Coming down, Burnaby North on offense. Ooh, spicy falling over reset. And this looks like potentially an FSU.
Yeah, a little junky.
Yeah, you can see in the middle of the field, number 5, Tessa Bell, kind of not looking at the disc, looking upfield to take anyone coming in. And in this kind of defense, her job is really to clog up the middle of the field. Everyone is forcing into the middle. And what Tessa's doing is trying to figure out, okay, who's the threat? And can I get to that disc first? Oh, great. Tessa commits a little bit too much, opens up the offense for Burnaby North. But it's tough. Oh, big flick huck. Defender in the space. Oh, just bobbles off the hands.
That was wasn't gonna work. Then it was gonna work, and then it didn't work. And that was it looked bad from the halfway down. It was gonna get D'd, but then popped up over right into the hands of the receiver, but dropped it.
It happens. Titans with the disc. Daphne Bell sends it over to Jack Ponton, who looks a little miffed that his players aren't cutting. Yeah, a vert stack here from Templeton. I don't know if we've seen that so far. Oh, great block there.
Nice D. I don't know if he got a piece of it, but he certainly got in the eye line of the offensive player and kind of caused that drop to happen. So here we go. We're in the red zone, basically, for North. See if they can get their first point, get on the board.
Yeah, they're set up in a vertical stack, kind of pulled over, giving space to the handler in the middle. But they're kind of drifting out into this amorphous blob. Not quite the vertical stack we're used to seeing. Maybe it's their patented end zone offense. Seems to be working so far. They're getting a lot of resets off, a lot of disc movement. Just need to hammer it in on the goal line. Oh.
A pick called on that cut coming across from the
Daphne Bell.
Zone. Yeah. We'll match up and go back to thrower.
Yeah.
About 3 yards from the end zone.
Yeah. Oh. Whoa. Violation. Defender said he wasn't ready. Yeah. He's looking behind. The handler taps his hand without him looking.
Got to do the big 3, 2, 1 countdown, everybody. Stay motionless. Here we go.
Exactly. Now, no handler back for Burnaby North. This is where the pressure starts to mount. Flick blade over the top. What a grab! Spinning in the air.
That was desperation there a little bit. They kind of ran out of cuts in the end zone. As you said, no handler back. Couldn't look for a dump.
Yeah.
Had to go forward, but then nice little pop over the top and fantastic. Even better catch there by North to get on the board.
That was awesome. Looks like the gloved hand paid off that time. little bit of extra friction to help reel that disc in.
I could never get used to playing with gloves. I tried it for one winter season, and it was warmer, but
Yeah.
I felt I just lost the touch on my throws.
I'm inclined to agree. I got one pair of nice gloves, some Club Junior gloves from Japan one year, and they were my favorites. I wore them for 4 or 5 years. Then I lost them and haven't been able to find a pair that was quite as good.
So if you're listening, Club Junior, you can send that to Jonah, care of BC School Sports.
Yep.
Pair of medium, large gloves, and
We'll go medium.
medium. Got to be tight.
I like the smaller
They gotta
size.
be
Yeah.
tight. All right, 3-1 now for North. They're on the board, and here we go again. So since this will be the first time since the first point that they're pulling downwind. We'll see if they throw down the zone.
Yeah. I think wind and zone defense are the great equalizers in high school ultimate. It can be really difficult if you have a team that doesn't quite have the touch on their throws or the accuracy to break through those smaller gaps, and zone can really elevate teams that might not excel in defense to be able to take down some bigger teams, maybe take down some Titans, as it were. As they're doing the wave. I don't know if you at home can see this, but the Titans team is linked arms and are doing the wave back and forth.
They're not only well coached in terms of ultimate, they're well coached in terms of choreography on the line.
Yeah.
So they're coming out with some stylish moves there. Practice that all year long. So we'll see. Speaking of bringing down the Titans, again, North beating their Titans South in the quarterfinals. See if they can do it again. Here we go. Big pull.
Nice. Stay in. No, just barely out of bounds. So number 88, Jack Ponton, will be picking up in the middle of the field.
And we've got longtime Burnaby North sponsor Rob Taylor grabbing the disc over there with the orange hat. Speaking of being around for a long time, he's been around for as long as I've been around, which is too long.
No, hard. Once you get into the ultimate community, it's hard to get out. Jack Ponton with the disc, and as we guessed, it's a zone. It's a 3-3-1 cup, which means there are 3 players chasing the disc around, 3 players in the middle of the field playing defense, kind of sharing the responsibilities of any cutters that come into their space, and 1 deep, way off screen who you probably can't see. Callahan McCullough to Ponton, over to Bell. And really patient. We were talking about this earlier. You kind of swing it back and forth until a hole opens up and they get it to Max Cheng in the middle, just like that. And once you get it through the cup, you want to keep the disc moving, because otherwise it lets the cup come back, set up, and kind of stifle your offense again. But Templeton looking unfazed. A nice shot through the middle to Cheng there. He's been finding holes all point. And as we said, they keep it moving, and there's not much you can do about that. Score for Templeton, 4-1.
Pretty easy there. Again, you just look at Templeton's demeanor when they're playing offense against the zone. There's no panic. There's no really panic throws or pushing the disc into bad areas. They're really patient. They're taking their time. They're finding, as you said, they're going side to side until that hole opens up in the middle, and then they're taking advantage of it. Mm-hmm. When it closes back down again, they'll go back to the side to side. And then once they got running there right at the end, it was like they're running downhill, no stopping.
Yeah, exactly. It was 5 consecutive passes between Callahan McCullough and Max Cheng, and no defenders in sight.
Yeah. And Callahan there, just noticed myself, that was some, he's a really good up and coming star. Something to look at there in the middle of all those give and goes. He was going right hand, left hand on his throws. So he's showing the talents there, being able to do the offhand, backhand when the quick throw scores, which is really a great skill to have if you're running in a tight zone. Being able to throw that offhand, backhand really quick.
Absolutely. It's faster to get off than the flick, and you can kind of control it with a little bit less speed. And ambidextrous throwers, kind of maybe the next hot thing in ultimate.
That's absolutely needs to happen. Remember, one of the first time we ran into that or saw that in a big way was Mike Grant back in the day for a few years. He broke his arm, I believe, at Flower Bowl in Vancouver. He was making a throw, and somebody came up from behind him and trapped his arm between him and the marker, broke his arm, his throwing arm. Over the next 6 months, he taught himself how to throw with his other hand, and his huck with his left was, I think, better than his huck with his right.
Yep, he played the entire 2012 Masters Worlds with a broken arm. Same with Morgan Hibbert.
Yeah,
broke his arm.
Later, Morgan Hibbert did the same thing.
2 plates in his hand, can't throw a flick anymore. Learned how to throw a lefty.
When Morgan grows up, he wants to be Mike Grant.
Yep.
So there you go.
Who doesn't? All right, pulls up, and Burnaby North with the disc, facing person defense. Maybe. It looks a little bit poachy.
Yeah, a little junky, little poachy. Hard to say right now.
It's a very interesting defensive set. It looks like there are 4 mids. It's two people covering the handlers, and then kind of a square of defenders. 2 covering the shallow mid option and 2 covering the deep mid option, and then 1 player deep. I haven't seen this defense played very much at all, but it looks like it's pretty effective at the moment.
They're definitely playing really low. Like as you said, they've got 6 people pretty tight, and it's just making it hard to find space.
Yeah. At this point, I think Burnaby North has thrown 25 throws and gained maybe 3 yards. It's just swing back and forth, swing back and forth. There's nothing opening up in the middle until there. And if we can get a continuation, it might break through, but they dump it back, and I think they're going to be dump swinging it for a while here, is my guess.
I know we can't see it on the film. Like in a situation like this, they've got Burnaby North has a player deep, but they're pretty much being ignored as there's a downwind will hold up any hucks. I like to see that player get into the play. Like even if it pulls the deep closer, it's not helping right now.
I agree. You have to make those defenders make decisions. If they can stand in the middle of the field and they don't have to think too much, and their presence alone is deterring you from throwing, you got to be a bit more active. Make those defenders look at you, look away from the zone that they're guarding, and that's how holes open up.
Even if they're coming in as somebody else is coming out, all right? Like you got to again make the deep think a little, move around, find those holes. They're pretty static. Their mid North has a player kind of 20 yards from the disc too, who's just having a hard time getting open. Just need a few more bodies.
Yeah, and I think the game plan here is just make them throw until they make a throwing error. Like, these defenders are not really biting on the disc. They're not playing super tight to try and get a block. They're just playing the numbers game. If you throw enough throws, you will eventually make a mistake.
Absolutely. That's the 100 throw principle. Make them throw 100 throws. We got to be at 50 at this point.
Yeah, or more. But slowly but surely, Burnaby North making progress. And that's what I like to see. You lose a couple of yards on that initial dump, you have to make it back with the next throw. And you can do that by making a throw or doing what the player in the yellow cleats did. You can kind of hop forward as you catch it. Big blading flick. Oh, just misread.
I really like that choice. Like, that opened up. They got a little space, and they had an offensive player down there open, just kind of couldn't connect with the throw.
Yeah. But now Templeton coming downwind. Callahan McCullough gets the pass off. And it's going to be a huck. But that's a lot of juice coming downwind and not a lot of love. Kind of blades down, and the wind pushes it into the ground. And now this might be an opportunity for Burnaby North. The defense might not have time to set up. It looks like they did. They got time to set up, and oh no, they're into person. My mistake. Apologies. But a bit of a missed throw coming upwind, jamming it up the jam hole.
Timeout
called. You love to see it.
Veteran.
Curl.
That's because that's Jeff Bell's daughter calling a timeout.
Yeah.
He told her that.
He told her.
If you're in trouble, call timeout.
Yeah. And being on the sideline after a long defensive point like that, it's an example of being in trouble.
Exactly. So Templeton, just a little recap on Templeton's season here as we have this timeout. So Templeton's kind of been hanging around the top of the rankings, the BC Ultimate rankings for AAA all year long. Bounced around, ended up seeded 2 coming into this tournament. They are the Vancouver champions and then are second in the Vancouver Sea to Sky Zones, losing to Handsworth, who's in the other semifinals against South Cam across the way. They don't have a scoreboard, so I don't know what it is. If anybody wants to run up here and tell us what the score is over there, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'd greatly appreciate it.
But they did win. So other than that second, they won Valhalla. They won Pull for Parkinson's. Last year they were 5th. Templeton was 5th in BC school sports. So
wow.
They lost in the that would have been lost in the quarterfinal and won out. And here they've run the table so far. Wins over Burnett, Walnut Grove, and Mount Doug in pool play, going 3-0, and then beating GP Guilford Park from Surrey 11-8, a little closer.
Yep.
In their quarterfinal. So that's pretty much the only road bump in the way for Templeton was Handsworth.
Yeah.
And I chatted a little bit with the Bell girls afterwards, after that game, and they said that wasn't their best game. They've got a better game. So if they move on, if Handsworth moves on, we get the grudge match, they'll be able to prove it.
I am excited. Two very good teams going at it. And you talked about Templeton kind of being in 5th last year. They're a new program relative to kind of some of the other perennial programs we've seen, Eric Hamber, Churchill, Prince of Wales. Templeton really didn't start to take Ultimate seriously until a couple years ago when Carla Keffer, Aaron Koenig, and obviously now Jeff Bell took an interest in coaching and brought their wealth of experience to the school, and it's paid off in not a long time. Yeah. It's pretty impressive how quickly this team has made it to the semis and are a provincial champion contender.
Absolutely, and that's it doesn't take it takes a few dedicated teachers and parents and buy-in from the kids, and you can build that program pretty quickly. So yeah, it's great to see.
All right, Bell picking up with the disc, gets it up. Ooh, tough inside shot to number 10, Adam Chu. Back to Bell. McCullough with the disc, and is he left-handed? Is he left-handed?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's throwing me off. He faked a lefty flick there.
I've seen him throw right-handed backhands too.
Yeah.
He does it all.
McKinney with the disc. Back to Bell. Doesn't like it. Looks off Darwoon. Ooh, tough contested shot to Suki Liang, who has it. Oh my goodness. Almost faked everybody with that backhand. McKinney. Templeton's offense kind of getting gummed up. They're really tight and a lot of people cutting at the same time. But eventually you're going to find an open receiver. Tessa Bell with the score.
Yeah,
5. Sorry.
No, yeah, 5. So yeah, 5-1. That was, as he said, jammed up a little bit. A few more risky throws there at the end zone, but not too much. They couldn't handle it again. They're a pretty calm team. They waited for that open shot and they took it. So there we go, 5-1. They're kind of, I want to say, running away with the game quite yet, but that's pretty impressive so far. And North is. Little bit of the heads hanging coming back to the line there. Now they kind of need to pull it up and show some stuff, but again they've had that comeback just the last game, so they will know that it's possible.
Yeah, we'll see what they're able to do here. I'm not sure what adjustments they need to make. It does feel like they're kind of disconnected between their handlers getting a lot of swings off and their cutters upfield. They're completing a lot of throws, but those throws are not really gaining them that many yards. And when they do gain those upfield yards, those 5, 10, 15-yard gainers, to be able to chain those into multiple gainers is what they're going to need to do. If the disc stagnates, that's where the Titans kind of clamp on and haven't seemed to let go yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as you say, like they're part of that's definitely looking for those open shots and playing that a little better, but also part of it is how the D is being done. Templeton, as good as they are on O, are pretty good and calm on D. They're being able to kind of shut down any sort of flow from the Burnaby North offense, and you got to give them credit for that. They're definitely a bit of stifling without really like selling out. They're not, again, running around like crazy maniacs on D.
Yeah,
they're just in the right positions, forcing the throws, as you said last time. They're not trying to contest every throw. They're just trying to make the 100 throws happen and wait for the turnover.
Exactly. And that's a top-down strategy. The coaches have done a good job teaching them an offense that will work. Here we go. Looks like a bit of a vert stack, but another zone from the Titans. And we'll see if they can get it off this sideline. Yeah, this is scary. Disc is up, floating a little bit. Comes across to Eugene Liang.
Eugene Pajama Pants.
Yeah.
We're going to start calling him Pajama Pants.
We actually have 2 pajama pants on this point.
Two that's what's messing me up. Too many pajama pants.
Okay. Nice shot into the middle. See if they can get a continuation. Not quite. Defender too tight. Little pop pass back. Coming across. And we're getting into the red zone here. Another 2 gainers, and we'll be into our end zone offense. Yeah, that's in. Nice grab there. Nice. That's what I like to see. You get that dump back, and you swing it all the way across. That's where the field's going to start opening up.
That was really nice. I would have liked to see the second continuation, though.
I agree. But a nice move in the middle from Black Pajama Pants. And we get an open shot to the sideline. Inside break. Oh, just barely gets through. The defender was right there. And looking for the backhand around, but
they do get it. I would have liked to see a D get dirty there on that first throw. Just got through, but then came up, backed her up, and got the turnover on the next one.
Yeah, and that was 2 defenders coming out of the stack covering that throw. So Templeton wired in, ready for anything. Nice reset to start the point. Up the field to Bell, to Chang. A little more give and go. Nice under to Alexander Cartwright. Gets it to Bell. Nice shot there to Ponton. Up the field to the other Bell. Oh, Cartwright.
Oh, foul called.
Yeah, calling a strip.
Yeah, that was really close. That one was coming right at us, and I'd have to say, I think the offensive player has a reason to make that call. It was from my perspective, it was pretty in his hands, and it kind of came through. So yeah, I see that as a contestant. I think that's a fair. It was one of those bang bang plays. It's hard to say when the thing was, but I definitely don't think that was. I think that was a justified call.
Yeah, I agree. For those at home who might not know the rules, if you catch the disc and cleanly stop rotation, and a defender pulls it out of your hands, it's a foul. There was kind of an argument whether rotation was stopped, and it went back. But we have a turnover, a little bit too far out of the hands of Max Chang. Dark Pajama Pants. Oh, throws a little too high. Tessa Bell reels it in. I thought that was coming up.
I thought that was she was going to jack it right there.
Ponton to Daphne Bell. Under to Max Chang. And man, the Titans just have so much room to work with. Like, you look at the field, there's just all this space for them to cut into. Makes it really easy to play because players are cutting. Oh. Wow.
Ooh.
Throwing it into a bit of a traffic jam there, but it works.
That was great communication. I thought often you see a throw like that, and you have a bunch of offensive players in the area, and none of them get it.
Yeah.
But I think they were chatted with each other, and it was just the easy catch. Tough throw. Don't mind the throw. Like, they had numbers. Mm-hmm. And the thing, you see in a high school ultimate a lot that people don't do is throw into space.
Right.
You have a lot of people trying to throw to the person they're trying to get to catch it. They throw their mark. Ends up being short, long, into defense. Make people go and get the disc. That's, if I want to say something to all high school or any ultimate players, somebody's running into the end zone. You're not throwing it to them. You're throwing them to that space they're running to. Let them run onto it, and that was a good example of that.
Exactly. Yeah. We talked about same third hucks, and that one, if it floated a little bit more, it's likely we saw a defender coming in, could have gotten in the mix, but a nice, sharp, bladey shot, which enough pace that the defender couldn't quite get there.
Yeah, it was a really nice throw. It was a touch. You could see the thrower take a look at it, think about it, made the throw deliberately, but executed really well. So
now,
that's good.
Brian, do you think we're going to see another zone here?
I think so. I think they come down again with their junky kind of three. It is a bit of a 3-3-1. It's not traditional like that. It is a little more junky than that. They've got their one deep. Although I'm looking on their line, going they don't have the. So I guess they do have their person, the player there.
Callahan McCullough
Callahan is there playing deep, and yeah, I think they just dare North to throw it 100 times and score.
Yeah, I agree. On the line, we've got, from what I can see, Kieran Ash. Daphne Bell with the pull. And that one's in, and it's going to roll.
Nice.
And they're setting up, a little bit of a slough to start. And this looks like a similar, a 2-4-1 zone. Or you could call it like a diamond zone. Very, very interesting. When I played on Team Canada U24s, we experimented with something similar to this, where it's kind of like a diamond shape in the middle, but can't say I've seen that defense before. We got a turnover. Daphne Bell with it on the goal line. Nice, just flips it into the end zone to Kieran Ash for the score.
A little bit of a skip spike there by Kieran. That's all right. Didn't destroy the disc.
Yeah. As long as it's not edged down, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, so that was I think you described it perfectly. I think 2-4 is what it is. They've got a couple male matching players on the mark, kind of as the cup, just pushing back, and then they've got 4 players in the mid, junking it up.
Junking it up,
and that's what you want to do. The junk is strong. And I think that gets us to halftime here, actually. That's 7-1.
7-1.
Looks like people. So, yeah, I think not a huge surprise so far in the half. I think, you hope that Burnaby North can kind of springboard off that quarterfinal. But the other thing you often see happen is when you win that big game you didn't expect to win, you kind of left it all out there, especially with a 7-2 comeback to 8-7 win.
Agreed.
Maybe not a lot in the tank.
Yeah. And that's something I was going to talk about earlier with this Templeton team and the kind of zone defense they're playing is not only is it effective, it's sustainable. When you're playing a big tournament like this and you're playing a lot of points with, maybe a small number of players, I think Templeton only has 5 female matching players today. You need to have a defensive strategy that keeps your bodies fresh if you want to go the distance. And if you're not blowing yourselves up in the semifinals and you make it to that finals, you're going to have a lot left in the tank to potentially take home a banner.
I'll be really interested to see, again, if this game continues going, if Handsworth wins, even if South Cam wins, I think it's a step up in opposition for Templeton in the final.
Mm-hmm.
And do they play the same game? Are they able to get away with the kind of junky zone? Do they default to more of a hucking style of offense? I think you see that in high school and in junior club a lot. You get down or you get a little antsy and the hucks start coming out. And we haven't seen that so far from, I think one huck from true huck from Templeton didn't connect, but in general they're playing the short game and it's working for them.
Yeah, it's working. All right, we're at halftime now. Should be about 5 minutes.
I'm trying to get a sense of what's going on the other semifinal over there, but it's hard to do. Again, we need a big scoreboard or somebody to run over and check out the score. Never stop coaching, by the way. Here's Jeff and Carla talking about marking, talking about they're up 7-1 the semifinal at the end of the season, and the two of them are talking about pop cutting, and they want to get out there. I said, they want to get out there and start playing. The mind is strong, but the body is weak.
The body is, exactly. I was at a tournament 2 years ago, Sunflicker, playing on a team with Carla, and at that tournament she celebrated her 60th birthday, and she was playing 6 or 7 points a game. It was incredible to watch.
It's crazy when you keep playing. I played for a long time. I've hung it up. I'm not playing anymore because I want my body to. I always say I want to be able to walk when I'm 60.
Yeah.
So that's. But yeah, there's. She's amazing. Has been playing. As I said, I played with her since the early 90s.
Wow.
With and against her. She was the first one of that group of Ultimate players to playing. We're playing one day and say, oh, by the way, we just found out we're pregnant.
Oh.
And that was Cole.
Cole Keffer.
Cole Keffer.
Yeah, I've played with him.
Fame,
and against him.
Fame of Cole, and then of course Cole was around. So Cole was that first ultimate baby, and it showed.
Yeah.
It showed in his skill for sure.
Of that next generation, famously made an appearance at 6 years old at Flower Bowl 2001, playing in the halftime game.
Oh man, I remember that. That was the most exciting thing about the final. Everybody was just cheering on with the golden curly locks.
Yeah, Goldilocks is what we called him in high school. And continuing the tradition of having kids on your teams, this Templeton team with multiple second generation Ultimate players. But the poll's up, and looks like a repeat of last point. Templeton pulling downwind, Burnaby North fighting upwind into this sort of zony look. This looks like a little bit different. This looks more like a traditional FSU, and they get it through the middle. The mid's not quite wide enough there, covering their mark.
North is on it. They're right there. That's the thing. It's like this zone isn't flummoxing them completely. They're getting the throws. They're getting a few shots through the middle. They're just, again, they're getting 85 of the 100 throws. And then there you go. And that's
that's the 100th one. Unfortunate. Oh, a big huck. We were asking for it. Looks like it's going out of bounds. A greatest opportunity. Fair enough. Just a little bit too much IO edge on that throw, and it sails barely out of bounds.
Yeah, that was there. The receiver was there, as you say, just the wrong edge on that disc.
Yeah.
To stay in.
And I think we're kind of, I'm in the commentary booth, and now I'm getting hit in the face with some wind, so I think it's more of a crosswind coming towards the near sideline, and that IO kind of just got picked up with the tummy of the disc exposed. That's up. Nice shot through the middle, one-handed stab to reel it in. Burnaby North getting these throws off and having this, I like this reset to the middle, and then you have an upline coming from that side. Unfortunately, they throw a little bit too low, but they were kind of figuring out how to get in behind Templeton's defense and get those shots into the middle of the field. Oh!
I think that was a little bit of a miscommunication there. That was, I'm going to throw it here, and the cutter decided to cut over there.
Yeah, and then halfway through
stop the throw.
Exactly.
And then you can't.
Yeah. You can't put it back in the holster once you pulled the trigger. Okay, this seems more like what we've been looking at with the two defender cup and a little bit of a diamond in the mids. Oh, just barely bobbles. It doesn't get the upline. Oh, bounces off the one-handed grab. And we'll see if Tessa Bell can find the open player. She does, to Maria Darwoon for the score. And they take the lead.
That one felt a little bit like a backbreaker.
Yeah.
If we haven't had one already, it's hard to say that the backbreaker happens at 7-1. It might have already happened. But,
yeah.
But the energy of that point, they kind of, North had the first possession and they ran it up to about halfway. Pretty good. They were doing what they needed to do, but they never really, after that, they got the disc back a couple times because of some Templeton miscues, but never really threatened after that.
And that's the frustrating thing. You throw 99 throws just to get it to half field, and then the other team throws one huck, and you're suddenly starting back at the beginning. The huck and pin, it's not the strategy that Templeton's employing, but it is effective, and it's mentally taxing for some of these less experienced players who are, thinking about the wind, thinking about the defense, thinking about how their players are cutting. It's so much mental stack that they have to deal with, and you throw in exhaustion in the mix, and yeah, it's hard to come back from. It's hard to come back from because the team as a whole starts to get tired. They start to get exhausted, and if you're unbothered on offense or unbothered on defense like Templeton is, you can kind of keep that composure and run with it.
Yeah, 100%. So I think it ends up being a bit of a mental game, and again, Templeton, like you said, is mentally too. I don't think they're mentally exhausted, just like we don't think they're as physically exhausted as some other teams. I was even thinking, like, on that last point, North is running so much harder than them on offense than they are on defense, like which is usually an offense. It's a little harder to play D when you're playing match. You're running a little harder. You don't know where they're going, but Templeton's almost resting on D, just being in the right places, and North has got to run so hard to get that one open shot, try the continuation, and then as I say, the turnover happens. Maybe there's a huck back down, you're right back at it, and we're at the bottom of the hill again.
Exactly.
Climb back up.
And Templeton is like putting some of their O-line studs out there on defense, like Callahan McCullough kind of in the midfield. And I don't know about you, but he looks pretty fresh still.
Yeah, for sure. The whole time paying attention to their... One that's not out there now. So the Bells are also playing most of the points, and they've got a pretty good stacked line. So here we go.
Jack Ponton with the pole. Nice. Floats in to the sideline. And we have, it looks like person defense from Templeton. And a second throw turn. Bell with the disc. Looking upfield. Finds Oscar Dugas. Just barely out of bounds. North with the disc again. And if it is kind of a downwind, do we think that they employ the same huck and pin strategy? Or a huck and pin strategy? Because you really don't want to turn it over on your end zone line. That is the most dangerous thing you could do in this position. Oh! Speaking of which, barely up.
I don't mind that strategy here. Like, you're down 8-1. What you've been doing hasn't been working all that much. I don't mind calling a huck play here.
Yep. And I think especially with Templeton, doesn't have their first stringers out there. This could be the place where you get a nice, defensive stand after a huck. Or maybe you just get a completed huck going downwind. Nice grab there. Big high stab. Flick over. But just pops out of the hands on the clap catch. 91, Dugas picking up once again. Nice little backhand flip to number 0, Suki Liang. And open side coming under to Alexander Cartwright. Not quite in. Back to Liang. And a nice two-phase cut from Dugas for his first score of the game.
So there you go. Again, a bit reminiscent of the last point there. A little bit of, sunken heads. North is coming off a little slower every time. I think it's the weight of this game. The opposition is a little bit too much for them right now. Don't blame them. Like, it's tough. They've had a tough tournament. They kind of dragged through. We said they, in a very unlikely fashion, ended up going 1-2 in pool play, but winning a 3-way tiebreak to even get into the quarterfinals. So they had some tough games there, much tougher games than losing on Universe Point, losing 12-8 to Richmond High.
Yeah, and
beating Richmond High 12-8, but then losing to South Cam. Whereas Templeton's kind of rolled.
Yeah. So they seem like they're building momentum going into these finals. Burnaby North, though, beating their rivals, Burnaby South, who were heavily favored to win the matchup. Quite an accomplishment from them, and making it to yet another semis. I think their second semis in 3 years, or in 2 years. Quite a big achievement.
And it's those grudge match wins that you remember.
For sure.
You can always hold it over them all. Remember when we beat you?
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I had more of those.
Fair enough. Yeah, when I was in high school, I don't know if we had any of those. We were always on the receiving end of, we're supposed to beat this team, and didn't quite get it when it mattered. But
got it the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't even have Ultimate in high school when I was in high school, so I didn't get a chance to play.
Fair enough.
Play there, or in university. I started after that.
All right, Templeton with a beautiful pull. Ooh. Hanging.
Stay in.
Wow. Surely it was in.
Yeah.
And Burnaby North starting just at the back of their end zone.
And it was, yeah.
Weirdly walks it in. Kind of slowly, but okay, this is a tough position to be in. Right on the back end zone line. Templeton clamping down. Nice little up line. See if you can get a continuation. Nice shot through the middle. Let's see if we can find another one. Just not any options upfield. All the options are kind of behind the disc. And 2 dumps, and we're right back on the back end zone line. Nice shot through the middle. Oh, just a little bit too much pace out of reach of the cutter. And a backhand flip to number 3, Kieran Ash for the score.
Yeah, and again, that's just kind of like broken record for the last 3 quarters, right? Where North is having trouble getting it out of the shadow of their end zone, and Templeton's picking the disc up and throwing it in, getting the point.
Yeah.
Now really conserving energy. I think I want to see, like, if I'm changing up our offense a little bit, if I'm Burnaby North, like you said, I think they almost have too many people in the dump position.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you've got, the reason you have 3 handlers in a traditional 3-person cup is because you have a 3-person cup, you have 3 handlers.
Yeah.
They've got 2 people in their cup. Have 2 handlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And they're not really, that middle throw is there. The reason it's not there is because I think there's a lack of bodies in that area for North to have options. So I like to see just have a 2-handler set and have another body up in the middle. And either that opens up another continuation, or when you get the first continuation, you then have a second.
Exactly.
We've seen that as well. 1 continuation, and that's it. It dies on the vine, and then you're back to the dump, and then you're right back to where you were.
Yeah.
Turning the disc over right outside your end zone and being down now 10-1.
10-1. And kudos to Templeton, though. They tried a couple of different defensive looks to start the game early on. They tried their 3-3-1 cup. They tried an FSU, and they found this 2-4-1 that has been undeniable. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what you like to see when you have a team that has multiple defensive looks. One defensive look isn't going to work for every team, but if you can cycle through a couple different looks and see what's most effective, you could just stick with it for the rest of the game and ride it out.
And the other thing that we talked about last time, I want to see it right here because it's still a little bit downwind. Their North is receiving. Probably it's going to be a little bit of a short field because of the wind. Call a huck play.
Call a huck play.
Swing huck.
Put it up.
Here we go, and they're getting it. They're getting about half field.
Yeah, and
use it.
This player closest to the sideline, that's a big body. I want to see him going. Oh, here it is. Like you called. Keep going. Get there. It's hanging. Oh.
The strategy was absolutely right there. The execution let it down. I'm going to take the win as the coach on that one.
Absolutely. Great call, Brian. Saw what needed to be done and called it before our eyes.
But that was good. I like that. Now they're pinned. Templeton's pinned. They haven't been down, pinned on their end zone in this half. So let's do it.
Yep. Picking up the disc. Someone I don't recognize.
Oh, right in between everybody.
Yeah.
Drop Jake down. And
everyone thought their teammate was getting it, and no one ended up going.
North gets the turnover, so here we go.
Picking up. Open player right at the front of the end zone. Oh, just through her hands. Unlucky.
That's rough. She might have heard the D coming there.
Yeah, just the footsteps.
And you just lose your focus just for a second and then popped right through.
Daphne Bell with the disc. Oh!
Oop.
Uh-oh. He's on the ground. 91 with the huck. Oh, trailing backwards. Number 2, who's not on my sheet.
They've been saving him.
It's been saving him.
Oh, and
oh, wow. An Oyo, shot through the whole stack.
That was that one where you're looking off the wide open guy.
Hold on. We might have an injury call.
Hold on.
That looks like he's clutching his arm. Maybe an elbow.
All right.
On the throw.
That's all. We had a huck there in the middle of that, but I think play stopped on the turnover. Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah, I wasn't sure he was bending down, touching his ankle, but he was bending down because his arm was hurt. And so that play, so I think that came from that throw. As you said, he kind of tried a pretty aggressive IO.
Oh!
I'm not sure if he got hit. He's just kind of instant replaying it right now. And he may have hit his elbow against the knee of the defender.
Yeah, I think he just tried to reset a dislocated elbow. Okay. I don't know about you. But that looked like he was trying to pop it back in.
I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah. Get him to the medical tent.
He's going to the medical tent, so that may have been it. So, yeah, that was a rough So disc the players need to work that out. Disc should be turnover in the end zone.
Yeah.
From the Titans, because for that rule, the rule is that the play goes back to the incident, to when you were injured. So he injured himself on the throw. The result of the throw completes.
Yeah.
And then everything should stop from there.
Although it's possible that there was no injury called at all.
Also
and
true.
if you don't call the injury, the play doesn't stop.
And the other thing about Ultimate, too, is if all the players on the field decide this is what's going to happen, then this is what's going to happen. And what's going to happen was North hucked it down, turned it over, and now the Titans disc working it back up the field.
Yeah. Bell with the disc. Gets a nice under. 2 cutters cutting into the same space. They sort it out. Nice shot. Back to the middle. Oh. Wow. No defender in sight for Daphne Bell. Little upline shot. The vert stack from the Titans are pretty deep here, but they're still making these unders work. Cartwright with the disc. Back to Ponton. Up the line to Bell. Open shot, streaking deep. Doesn't like it. Oh, nice shot there. Nice placement of the disc, putting it inside where the defender can't make a play. Cartwright looping backhand. I think that might be out of bounds.
Oh, that's too bad. That's a nice choice.
Yeah.
And like you said on that last throw, there was a poach coming into that area, but the disc, instead of kind of straight up the seam, right to the receiver, led inside away from the D, so there couldn't be a poach D on that. Really good awareness.
Yeah, that's what you like to see from your handlers. Is in the moment they've decided to commit to the person they're throwing to, and at the last second they got to pick where on that receiver they're going to throw it to and put it to the inside. I'd say it's the right call.
It was the right call, and that throw to the back of the end zone was the right call too. That was to the poached player.
Yeah,
the offensive player got poached. It was wide open. It was just an execution.
Yeah, just a little bit into the wind, popped up. And Burnaby North with another chance to score here. Oh, but just off the hand of the receiver. You hate to see it.
And here we are back at the Burnaby North, close to their end zone, having a little trouble getting out.
And that should be it. Nice.
Nice little throw there. Taking us to 11-1 for Templeton. Over North. There's no bagel for this game, so that's good for North. And they're gonna go to sleep tonight thinking about the win over South, not the loss.
Exactly.
Inevitable loss here to Templeton, but I don't want to count them out. They came back from 7-2, but
it is looking a bit grim.
It's looking a bit grim right now. I think we can. They always used to say the old one was they're getting ready to turn the lights out. They haven't quite done it yet, but the janitor's getting close to the lights.
Yeah, he's got his keys. He's got his mop out. All right.
We're gonna close up shop here in a minute.
Okay. So last couple points, potentially, of this game, and I think we can start looking towards the finals. We have 2 very good teams coming up, or at least. One very good team coming up in Templeton, who are likely to make it to the finals. And on the other field, we have Kelowna versus Handsworth. Handsworth have been dominant all season. And they just scored a point.
Right there. We don't know what that means, but they just scored.
Yeah.
I haven't been paying quite enough attention. I think it's safe to say that game is closer than this game.
Yeah.
That has been running up and down. South Cam, they're another great program, and you talk about Templeton being a new program. The Okanagan in general is a new program. The Okanagan high school scene really kind of took off 2018.
Yep.
19 just before COVID.
Yeah.
And then as everybody took a step back for that, but really came out of it firing on all cylinders. And now there's so much ultimate going on up there. Kamloops, Kelowna,
amazing.
Vernon, Penticton, Salmon Arm. All that area. Merritt.
Yeah.
Merritt is here playing, and they're doing some amazing stuff. Summerland is in AA. It's just so much great ultimate going on up there, and South Kamloops is kind of the right now the star performer of that area. And
that was kind of when ex-head coach of Point Grey, David Stelk, kind of made a move up there and started trading up the Helios program, the club team, and that bled into a budding junior scene, which to make it to the semifinals is no small feat at AAA provincials.
Yeah, for sure. So good for them. We'll see if they're close, if they make the finals or not. Again, Handsworth would have been a big favorite in that one, but we'll see. I guess we're going to be doing the finals, so we're going to see it up close and personal.
Pull from Templeton there, just out of bounds. Looks like yet another 4-4-2.
Oh, slapped it out of his hand at the start.
When you tap it in a little bit too hard.
I always called the turnover on that one and started running in the other direction.
The party tournament special. All right. Nice shot through the middle, but just a little bit too low. Kind of a downwards angle on the release and kind of sent it into the turf. Bell with the disc. Back to Callahan McCullough. To Bell. Up line. Really, really nice shape on that throw. Two cutters cut into the same spot. Woo! Scuba. Oh, tried to get fancy with it.
That's the look of a team that's up 11-1.
Yeah. All right, we're going to scuba over to the stack now.
We're just going to do that lefty scuba across the stack in the end zone. Got to land that inbounds up.
Yeah. Okay, this doesn't look quite like the 4-2-1 we saw before. Number 5, Tessabel on the sideline is kind of assassinating that handler mark, taking one of the resets out of the play. And here's where I think they're going to clamp down. They get to the sideline. Oh, maybe not. Force him back to the middle. Whatever it is, it's working.
It's working. That's what they say. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Blue hat. Oh, fakes a scuba. Slowly marching back into their own end zone. Nice way to reel it in there. Oh, looked up a little bit too early.
Same as it ever was.
Yeah.
They're throwing it around. They're getting some good looks. And then a drop. All right. I don't think we'll see a scuba here.
Well, you never know.
Don't know.
Bell with the disc.
There we go.
Flick blade. Oh, nice shot. Defender caught looking the opposite direction and barely sneaks it in there with a flick blade.
That's sister telepathy right there, I think.
Yeah.
That was they've done that before. I'm going to fade out to the back of the stack, and you're going to throw it a little shorter as my D's looking at me, and I'm going to come get it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. The D's looking at me. If you're a handler and you see that the defender of your receiver is face guarding, they have their back turned to you, you can kind of pick where you want to throw it. No, they won't be able to respond in time. Mm-hmm. An underrated skill, I think.
Absolutely. And always got to be aware when you're on D. You can't be focused 100% on your check. You got to know where the disc is. Who's got the disc?
That's another
thing that you got to, that's a good thing to learn as ultimate players. As the game goes on, who's likely to throw a left-handed scuba across the back of the stack? Who's gonna be looking short? What do they got? We've got luckily here. Oh, he doesn't look too bad. A Titan player who hurt his elbow is back. Got his bag of ice. And is kind of walking along gingerly. Hopefully he'll be all right. It's number 2.
Yeah. We can go back to that injury earlier I've never seen an injury like that. It looked like possibly a dislocated elbow on a flick. I've never seen an injury on a throw before.
Break force. Yeah, like a break force. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he caught his elbow on the knee of the defender.
Possibly.
But even that, you reach your arm out, you're kind of trying to torque it around a little bit. You put the pressure on, and maybe you popped it out or something like that. So it looks like a bit of a chicken wing right now. But again, he's on the sideline. He seems to be smiling.
Oh yeah. Oh, there he is.
His team's
just
up
icing
12.
it.
His team's up 12-1, so that's something to be happy about.
Yeah. Nice. Pull stays in bounds.
There we go. Ooh. Good fake huck there.
Yeah. Yeah, good reset. Hit the next player. You got to hit the next player. I think that's the missing key here is you got to keep the swing going. You can't just be content with hitting one.
And there it was again. They got it in through the middle. They had an open.
Yeah.
Didn't take it, and then again jammed up.
Are
playing match. Titans are playing match now here.
Yeah. Ooh. Got the mark to turn around. All right, hits it. Yeah.
This game has definitely taken a bit of a festival atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think both teams have kind of understood what's going on and are just kind of mucking around on what could be final points if Titans score.
Oh, nice grab. Yeah, I would love to see a big, fat, juicy hammer to finish this point out. Oh, what a cut. Okay, he's been doing that all game. These super fast jab steps.
And there we go. We got North put their second point on the board. And yeah, I'll echo that. That cutter for North, he's been doing that. He's been doing those juke steps. He's been dropping defenders with good regularity there.
Yeah.
And then got the disc there close to the end zone. Managed to punch it in for their second point. 12-2.
Yeah.
What are the chances that the next throw by the Titans is a huck?
I think it's pretty high.
102%.
And the player that scored there for Burnaby North was the same that scored their first point earlier with the looping grab over the top.
Right, the gloves.
The glove.
The glove. We'll call her the glove.
The glove. McGlovin, as it were. Sorry.
People talking to people, telling them to come on. Okay, they're doing the Titans are trying to do a handshake thing, but it's not working. Now, there we go. There they go.
That's pretty good.
Go. Again, everybody's kind of happy. And it looks like the other game is over. Looks like Handsworth is kind of in that position that they won that. Didn't quite see where the disc was. Not 100%. Don't mark it down yet. But I think Handsworth took that game out. And if they're ending right now, it might have not have been as
close as we were thinking, yeah.
As much closer, or at least they were just playing more efficiently.
Yeah. Either that or Cap came on, because I think it's...
yeah, are we close to...
75 minutes?
Yeah, I think so. So that 75 is not 2 minutes from now, so I think they might have ended before Cap. Finals Cap, I think, is a little bit longer. We'll have to check on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd hope so. I'd love a long, hard game in the finals.
I don't love doing back in the day stories. But, back in the day stories, it used to be quarterfinals were to like 17.
Yeah.
Semifinals were to 19. Finals were to 21.
21.
And there was no cap. There was no time.
Yeah, you play until the game's over.
Play until you died.
Oh, here it is. 102%. Oh, it doesn't quite put him in the end zone, though. And looking to end the game.
In style.
Oh, stall count must be getting up. Oh, just out of the hands.
Couldn't get the open look.
Could this be the start of the comeback?
It better be.
That'd
be good. That's 12-1. That's a long comeback. They've got the 1 point.
So
it's 12-2 now.
12-2.
The 12-1 was that was the hill they had to climb. So.
Yeah.
The hardest point is the first one.
The first one.
Comeback.
Yeah. Once it gets spinning, who knows?
That's what the coach said of North. They said, I asked him what changed in the quarterfinal against South when it was 7-2. Mm-hmm. And he said, we got 1 point. We got the 3. Like, as soon as we got that point, we were rolling downhill.
Yeah.
That was it. That's all they needed.
Oh, nice. Fights through the defender. Gets the disc. Oh, big huck. Oh. Just a little bit too low. I like it, though. I like the idea. You have a defender on that open side. You throw a break side huck. There's not going to be a defender there. Open under to Bell. To Chang.
Nice catch.
Nice grab from Livia Morris. To number 10, Adam Chu. Back to Bell. Kind of on the far sideline. Throws a loopy shot to Morris. And that is game.
Throw it to space.
Throw it to space.
That's what happened there. Nice throw it to space. And yeah, that's a wrap up 13-2. So pretty good game there by Templeton. I think the gas tank was a little low from North there. And we'll be back to do the finals, I believe, at 3:20.
3:20.
I think is finals time. So they say same bat time, different bat time, same bat channel. But Jonah and I will be back. So any last thoughts?
I'm excited. I'm excited to see who comes out on top in this next game, and we'll see you there.
All right. Check it out. See you at 3:20.